First off, I would like to say good morning to my American people. I appreciate you for being here for this speech, and let's get right into it. So, today I'm here to make fusion great again. What is fusion, you may ask? Fusion is a nuclear chemistry, or nuclear fission is really what a reaction is in which two or more atomic nuclei are combined to form one or more different atomic nuclei and subatomic particles. Scientifically speaking, which is sufficiently heated, hence being plasma or fusion reactions may occur during to which collisions, which with extreme thermokinetic energy of the particles. Well, what we use fusion now for is for controlled substances or weapons or really uncontrolled. Really, it's uncontrollable. Really, it's uncontrollable. So it's an uncontrolled release fusion of energy, but it is controlled by a thermonuclear fusion energy, which has yet to be achieved. So who discovered fusion was Heinz Albrecht Bethe. Heinz was a German-American nucleus physician who, physician, excuse me, people, excuse me, physics, who made important contributions to the astrophysics, quantum electrodynamics. He also won a Nobel Peace Prize in 1967 for his work on the theory with stellar nuclear statistics. Where was it discovered, or what was its first use? It was discovered through the quantum tunneling through the fusion was possible through that energy source for the sun. Because basically fusion is from the sun because you really can't create it. So as time goes on, everyone knows that the government wants to use fusion as a weapon. As long as we get the advantage of keeping the country safe, I guess that was fine with the scientists. But with that being said, some use of this energy went to thermonuclear weapons, as I stated before, but this was actually created in the 1950s. What is its fuel? Hydrogen is the fuel and gravity that creates the conditions needed for the fusion production. Where is it produced today? Europe, USA, Russia, Japan, you name it, it's undergo anywhere. Basically anywhere about, I'd say 75% of the world and bigger continents. So much of the world can produce this energy today. Fusion research in the USA and USSR was linked to atomic weapons with development and remained classified until the 1950s. Atoms for Peace Conference, where that was announced. So how is it used? It is used widely through nuclear power plants and weapons. Well, the first weapon was one of the bombs per se, so that was really its first use. But fusion, as I said, fusion is not produced on Earth, nuclear fusion was used from the sun. All light and warmth was received from the sun and is due to nuclear fusion. One of my favorite quotes was one of my favorite quotes was from Albert Einstein. He said, "What a sad era when it was easier to smash an atom than prejudice." My second quote is from Otto Hahn. As a chemist, we must remain scheme to BALACE in place of RA and AC. As a nucleus chemists closely associated with physics, we cannot yet convince ourselves to make this leap with contradictions in all previous experience in the nuclear physics. My last quote before I close is by a man named Stephen Hawking. I would like the nuclear fission to become a practical power. It will provide an inexhaustible supply of energy without pollution or global warming. So many frequently asked questions. How does fission and fusion reactions compare? A second question, which is a runner-up of the first question, at what point during the fusion process does the helium and nuclei stop adding to the plasma, heading and become into impurity. The third recently asked question of today was, what does the strong force have to do with the energy released by the triduodenum fusion reaction? There's there's more than three positive aspects, but I'm going to give you only three just for the remaining shortage of time. So, the challenge of fusion energy is how to create these conditions on Earth in a controlled way that can be used to provide power. Both fission and fusion are nuclear reactions that produce energy, but the applications or applicants are not the same. Fusion is a splitting of heavy, unattainable nuclei through putting power together first and releasing vast amounts of energy. Fusion power is a proposed form of power generation that would generate electricity from using heat and nuclear fission reactions in the fusion process to basically just lighter an atom and nuclei to combine a heavier nuclei. And just a few negative aspects. Waste is one of the top negative debatable ones in fusion. But the waste is the radioactive, and safe disposal is very expensive, which is definitely a hit in our tax dollars. Ciao. Local thermal population from waste water affects the marine life. Low fuel quantity reduces mining and transportation effects on the water, and costs of building and safely demunicipalizing are very high. Estimated production cost is around let's say in US dollars, it's 22 billion. In euros, it's 20 million. Now, to close out any and every speech, I would like to give a special thanks to the American people for listening to this campaign, and I hope you vote me for the election. Let's go Fusion. Let's make Fusion great again.